Yeah, let's cover our first lecture on review of real numbers. We're going to start with fractions, everyone's favorite subject. All right, there's only a couple of things you can do with fractions. There's four things you can do with fractions. You can reduce them, multiply them, divide them. Okay, five, add and subtract. So I'm going to show you how to do each one of these things. Don't freak out. It just takes practice. Okay, you can do this, I promise. So for reducing, you're going to divide the number. You're going to take the top. So you're going to divide the numerator. The numerator is the top number. This is not a hashtag, it's a number sign. You're going to divide the numerator, the top number, and the denominator. The denominator is the bottom number. You're going to divide each the top and the bottom by the same value, by the same number. Now, these are your notes. Notice I wrote value. You can write number. It's your notes. Write what makes sense to you. There's certain words that you cannot change. Numerator means the top number. Denominator means the bottom number. Don't come up with other crazy words for them. That's what they are. But things like same value, you can write the same number, whatever makes sense to you. You're going to repeat until there are no more common factors. Until there are no more common factors. What does that mean? Until there's no more numbers that they both have in common, that the top number and the bottom number have in common. So if they're both even numbers, say 4 divided by 2 or 2 divided by 4, they both have 2 that are common. So you divide the top number by 2 and the bottom number by 2. But say you have 3/7, they don't have anything in common. So you can't divide both of them by the same number. Okay. So here's an example. 4/8. We can divide both of them by 2 because they're both even numbers. Even if you don't know your multiplication skills, if they are even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, etc., then you can divide them by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. But wait, there's more. These are even numbers as well. It means they're both divisible again by 2. You do this until you can't. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That is as low as we can go. If you do not know your multiplication skills, this is going to be a little bit harder. But to understand whether or not something is even, it would end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. There's other little tricks that I'll teach you along the way as well. Multiplying fractions, again, having to do with fractions. You multiply the numerators straight across and the denominators straight across. But, this is a big but, I always like to reduce first, okay? Reduce first if you can, because then it's easier to reduce them before multiplying. But to multiply, you multiply the numerators and denominators straight across. You will never hear me saying the words cross multiply in this class or any class after this because there's no need. There's only one time you can use cross multiplication, and there's other ways you can get around using the words cross multiply. So when you see that fractions need to be multiplied, you multiply straight across. Here's an example. 2/3 times 5/6. This is 2 times 5 over 3 times 6. I would typically reduce this first, but say you don't see that 2 and 6 reduce. Well, then just multiply straight across. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18. They end in even numbers, so we need to divide both of them by 2. Always reduce. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. It's as low as we can go. Let's talk about dividing fractions. So when you have a fraction divided by another fraction, you keep the first fraction the same. Keep the first fraction the same. You're going to change the division sign to multiplication sign. And then you're going to flip or take the reciprocal of the second. Reciprocal means you flip. And I'll give you an example. If you have 5/8 divided by 1/2, you can't just divide. You have to keep the first fraction the same, change the division to multiplication, and then flip or take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now you are going to go back up and do the multiplying of the fractions. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 1 is 8. These are both even. We can reduce them by 2. So divide both by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 8 divided by 2 is 4. No mixed numbers. We're not going to do mixed numbers. Okay. Adding and subtracting. So you're going to find a common denominator. These are done exactly the same way. Find a common denominator. Remember, the denominator is the bottom number. Then you're going to add or subtract. The numerators. You're going to keep the denominators the same. Okay, here's an example. 3/4 minus 1/3. Common denominator. Remember, the denominators are the bottom numbers. We've got 4 and 3. 3 doesn't go into 4. 4 doesn't go into 3. So we need to find a number that they'll both divide into evenly. Okay, the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16. The multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, and 12. Between the two of those, 12 is the common denominator. So we want the 4 to become a 12, and we want the 3 to become a 12. So you're going to go just like this. You're going to take 3/4 and multiply it by 3 over 3. 4 times 3 will give us 12. We're just changing it to multiplying by 1. Minus 1/3 times 4 over 4. Multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Keep the denominators the same, and we're going to subtract the numerators. 9 minus 4 is 5. No reducing. All right, reduce each fraction to its simplest form. I want you to pause the video for each one of these. Pause the video right now, reduce 4/6. Come back to see how you did. We'll do the same thing with B and C and D. This is giving you a chance to test how you do And then you've got me right here doing it for you to show you how to do it correctly. So please give yourself a chance. This is when learning takes place. Making mistakes is when learning takes place. Okay, do not be afraid to make mistakes. Now's the time to do it because now's when it doesn't count. This is not the exam. This is when I can support you. All right, pause the video and then come back to see how you did. So 4, 6 are both even, which means they're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide both by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That's as low as we can go. Pause the video, attempt the next one. 14 over 28, both even. So I'm going to divide both by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Okay, they're not both even. However, 7 times 2 is 14. So I can divide both of these by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. How'd you do? Pause the video, do the next one. 15 over 75. Okay, they both end in 5. So I'm going to divide both by 5. If they end in 5 or 0, they're divisible by 5. Period. That's the trick. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 75 divided by 5 is 15. Here's another trick. If the numbers add together are divisible by 3, then that number is divisible by 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 is divisible by 3. So both of these are divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. I still use that trick. All right, then the last one is 11 over 25. Pause the video and then come back to see how you did. Well, this one doesn't reduce. This one's as low as it can go. It is completely simplified. Let's talk about multiplication and division. We're going to start with multiplication, the ones on the left. So I want you to use the rules of multiplication and start with the first one, then go to the second one. Again, pause in between, come back and see how you did. 1/2 times 4/3. When you multiply straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. We need to reduce. They're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide both by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. As low as it can go. If you have questions as you're going through any of these, please write them down so we can discuss them. We can meet up on Zoom or whatever you need. Let's pause the video and go to the next one. 3 times 5 is 15. 11 times 2 is 22. Neither one of those have anything in common. 15 is made up of 1, 3, 5, and 15. 22 is 1, 2, 11. So that's as low as it goes. All right, the next one. There's a little trick here. This 6 is a whole number, right? Well, anytime you have a whole number, that's the same thing as that number over 1. That's all it is. It's that number over 1. Don't make it anything more than it is. Times 3/5. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 5 is 5. That does not reduce. Pause the video and attempt the first division one. Keep, switch, flip. Keep the first fraction the same. Switch from division to multiplication. And then flip or take the reciprocal for 3/4 and make it 4/3. Remember, when you multiply now, we're multiplying straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. This can reduce. They're both even. So they both reduce by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Pause the video, attempt the next one. 5/7 divided by 6. Well, this is the same thing as 5/7 divided by 6/1. Now we can do the keep, switch, flip, multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. 7 times 6 is 42. This doesn't reduce. Let's go do the last one. 11/3 divided by 7/9. Keep, switch, flip. 11 times 9 is 99. 3 times 7 is 21. These are both divisible by 3. 9 plus 9 is 18, which is divisible by 3. 2 plus 1 is 3, also divisible by 3. So divide both these by 3. This is going to make it 33/7. And that's as low as we can go. Now, I do want to talk about a couple things because Mom, My Open Math, likes you to sometimes not answer in improper fractions. This and this are called improper fractions. I am totally cool with that answer on your exam and on your checkpoints. However, My Open Math is not me. And I need to be able to give you some problems to where she's going to require you to answer in mixed numbers, not decimals, mixed numbers instead of fractions. So I want to go over these two here on how to make them mixed numbers. This is what you do. Whip out your calculators. 5 goes into 18 how many times? Take 18 divided by 5. I got 3 I don't care. So there's a 3. Then you're going to go 3 times the 5. 3 times 5. And that goes right there, 15, where you're going to subtract them. 18 minus 15 is 3. So your answer is 3 and 3/5. Let me see something real quick. That's what I thought. So here's another way you can do it. If you take the 18 and divide it by 5, you get your whole number, the 3. You get the 3. Subtract 3, and you get 0.6. What is 0.6 times 5? The 3/5. That is the 3 for this one here. That's another way you can do it. I'll show you both ones for over here as well. Let's take the 33 divided by 7. 33 divided by 7. And I got 4 I don't care. So that 4 is my whole number. Now, for this next part, I can subtract my 4, or you can go 4 times 7, which is what I like, and I get 28, and I'm going to subtract them. So let's see if this does it for me. Times 7. Yeah, it does. It gives me the 5. So 4 and 5/7. So you can do it this way, or you can do it with your calculator. So you would go 33 divided by 7 is equal to your 4. Then you would take these, you would subtract 4 from your calculator, and you get the decimal. And then you would multiply that times 7, and you would get your 5. I'm not going to write the whole decimal piece out, but that's the steps that you can do as well. You've got multiple options here, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. Again, practice. You're not going to be able to do this just by watching me do this one time. This is going to take lots of practice. I've been doing this for a long time. Don't ask. All right. Now we're going to add and subtract. This one we have to have common denominators. The first ones over here already give you a common denominator. So this is going to give you practice on just combining your numerators, keeping the same denominator, and reducing if you need to. All right. So pause the video, attempt these, and then come back to see how you did for each one of them. Okay. The same denominator is 4 minus, so this is going to be the same thing as 4 minus 2 over 7, which is 2 7. Does not reduce. The next one is the same thing as 1 plus 3 over 6, which is 4 6. These are both even. They reduce. Please don't forget to reduce. They divide by 2 for both of them, and we get 2 thirds. The next one is the same thing as 10 minus 7 over 11, which is 3 elevenths. That's as low as it can go. Now we have practice on finding a common denominator. The easiest way to think of this is, what number does 7 and 3 divide into evenly? If it helps you, if you don't know your sevens, 7 times 2 is 14. 3 doesn't go into 14. 7 times 3 is going to have to be 21. So you're going to take 3 sevenths. Well, to get 7 to 21, you're going to have to multiply it by 3. But you can't just multiply your bottom number by 3. You have to multiply your top and your bottom. So it's the same thing as multiplying it by 1, which just doesn't change the value. This is what we have to do. The next one, we want 3. You want your denominator to become 21. Well, to do that, you're going to have to multiply it by 7. Which, again, you can't just multiply the denominator. You have to multiply the entire fraction by 1, which is 7 over 7. 3 times 3 is 9 over 21. 4 times 7 is 28 over 21. Now that the denominators are the same, we can add the numerators. 9 plus 28 is 37. Now, this does not reduce. I'm going to come back and we'll find the mixed number for that. All right, we'll do that after we finish these last two. Let's get this habit going first. Pause the video, attempt the next one yourself. 1/2 minus 1/3. What's the common denominator? Well, in this case, it has to be 6. So 1/2, in order for 2 to become 6, I need to multiply it by 3. So I need to multiply it by 3 over 3. Minus 1/3. I need the denominator to become 6, so I have to multiply it by 2. So 2 over 2. 1 times 3 is 3, 6, minus 1 times 2 is 2, 6. 3 minus 2 is 1, 6. Last one. 5 and 15. Is there a number they both go into evenly? Yes. And that number is 15. If up until now you have just been multiplying these two numbers, it doesn't always work that way. In this case, if you multiply 5 times 15, that's what? I don't even know. 5 times 15. 75. I don't want to do that. But I know 5 times 3 is 15 and 15 times 1 is 15. So I'm just going to keep 15 as my common denominator. 5 times 3 will give me 15. And this one I don't have to do anything with because it's already 15. So 4 times 3 is 12 over 15 minus 1 over 15. 12 minus 1 is 11 over 15. That doesn't reduce. Last one, pause the video, go back up here to this 37 over 21. Let's get some practice on that. And go ahead and find the mixed number. Go ahead and find the mixed number on this. Okay, pause the video and then come back. So 37 divided by 21 is 1 point, I don't care. Now you can do it this way, 21 times 1, and that's 21. Subtract them to where you get 1 and 16 over 21. Or you can take 37 divided by 21, you get your 1, and then you have to go subtract the 1 from the number in your calculator, and you get 0.7619, blah, 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 blah. Multiply that by your 21, and you get your 16 over 21. Okay, either way, whichever you feel most comfortable with. If it's neither, pick one, learn it, use it. All right, signed numbers. We're going to pause the video for this one. I'm going to make a new video for you. I'm done with the first video. I hope you did great. If there's any questions you have, plan on meeting up with me. Let's have a quick tutor session. Come to me with questions. I'm not going to be prepared to meet up with you. You need to be ready to meet up with me. Have a great time with this.